real life example with you of a data visual that was shared in Florida. So in 2005, Florida passed a law saying that people could use deadly force if they felt threatened. We actually have this law in many states in the US. Um, and soon after passing that new law in Florida, the Florida Police Department issued this graph. So I'm just going to pause and see what you make of that graph. It points out the time when that law was passed to presumably show the impact of that law. What do you notice or wonder about this graph? Please share in chat if you have anything you notice. Okay, we've got some sharp-eyed people, I see, noticing that there's something a little bit odd about this graph, which is we don't normally have the zero in a graph at the top of a graph. We normally conventionally share it at the bottom of the graph with the big numbers at the top. And actually, if you reverse the graph and make it the more conventional way that graphs look, it looks very different. So this is just an example of how we have to really help our kids make sense of the data and the data visuals they see. And that's pretty important, as I said, for our democracy and for protecting young people, helping them be skeptical. And we, in our new Data Minds book, share some protective, skeptical questions. Who produced the data? Great one to ask of that graph we just saw. Are the axes sensible? Another great one to ask of the graph we just saw. Is all the data being displayed or is some of it missing? Is the data showing a causal relationship? This one is the newspaper and media are filled with data that are correlated, but actually are not, one does not cause the other. On missing data, we share in our book that there's some really important policies in the world that have been based on missing data. The formula to develop office temperatures was actually developed in the 60s using the metabolic resting rate of a 40-year-old 70-kilogram man. So that's a very specific data point, and a lot of people are too cold in offices, a lot of women in particular. BMI also was developed without any women, and there's all sorts of problems with BMI. I won't go into them. Really serious conditions were misdiagnosed for people because they didn't include black or brown populations. So, what I hope for is that our young people that you're teaching are going to do a better job than this. This is where we are in the world now, but these young people can learn to include everybody in data. Correlations that are just correlations. I love Tyler Vegan's site, and it's a great one to use with kids. He has a number of correlations that show data that is spuriously correlated. So this is a good one. I don't know if you can convince me that the divorce rate in Maine is caused by people's consumption of margarine. But as you see, those data are pretty close together, and he has lots of other examples on his website that are really helpful for us in educating kids about that. So, in our book, we talk about these different habits of mind that kids need to make sense of data in the world. And of course, these are just generally great habits of mind to have in the world, asking questions, being curious, thinking about what's fair and not fair in data, and investigating, pattern seeking, communicating in different ways, multimodal ways. And I'm going to show you a lot of that. And something else that's really helpful when we bring data into the classroom is the opportunity it gives for kids to be creative and use their own agency. The standards that are used in the US and many other countries, if you look at the data visuals they talk about, it's line graphs and pie charts. That's it. But what data has brought to our world is incredibly creative data visualizations. So this is a statistic I share in the book. George Land and Beth Jarman were asked to develop a test of creativity, and for NASA. And they developed a test, and it actually was highly predictive of who did well inside NASA. So they're very happy with that. But they decided to give it to children. And they were shocked to find that 4 to 5 year olds scored at that, 98% of them scored at the highly creative level. By age 10, that had dropped to 36%. By the time they were 15, same kids, it had dropped to 12%. And as adults, only 2% of them scored in this highly creative level. So, we know that we don't do a good job in the school system of nurturing kids' creativity that they have. But as I was saying, data visualizations and generally working with data allows lots of opportunities for more creative thinking. So I want to get to some of those examples for you. But this is our new book. It's called Data Minds, that I wrote with Kathy Williams. And our goal in writing this book was really to help encourage agency, kids using their own ideas, looking at the patterns in the world and looking beyond what's really obvious to see relationships and connections. So the last thing I wanted to share about, I could go on all night for why we want data literacy, is actually a lot of data investigations, even those that kids do in school, actually help improve the world. And I'll show you some different examples of those. In our book, we have examples of people using citizen science, a school where the kids mapped out which routes to school were safest and actually got the local council to change the driving routes around the school. People looking after our coastal communities, the animals there, and we have QR codes and links to different groups that help with data. One of the examples, we were in London and we went to see a school that had got the kids doing a middle school project where they were helping the local food bank and helping them with working out data on nutrition and even helping the extinction of animals. I love the mid-school math group. Here's some of the different projects. The mid-school math group actually have a whole curriculum now where they've gone around the world filming interesting events for their units. And this is one of them that they filmed in South Africa that I thought you'd like to see.
My name is Caleb and I'm from Cape Town, South Africa.
I'm Kaylin Schroeder. I'm 9 grade 7.
My name is Mayim Bokot and I'm from South Africa.
South Africa is really unique because it's got a really unique culture.
Cape Town is one of the cities in our country that everyone knows of.
You get the coast, and then along the coast there's quite a few mountain ranges. In South Africa we have the African penguin and their population keeps on declining every year.
My favorite was when we went to Boulders Beach because then we saw actually where all the penguins' nests were and how they acted around each other. And we also saw some baby penguins, which was really cute.
Oh, there's so many penguins over there.
Check out the babies!
When I was out and about with the penguins, we got really cute pictures of them and observed how they live and how they act.
And I saw so many cute little penguins and I've probably never seen such small penguins before.
Okay, so they kind of walk like this and it's really cute when they walk around because they look like they're trying to struggle to walk and they're not meant to be walking on land, but they somehow manage to do it very easily.
So we had a task to make a movie about the population of African penguins.
It was mainly to get the idea that penguins are starting to go extinct and that they're struggling to survive.
we look at how much the population has decreased over the years.
One of our tasks is to determine the amount of decline.
Our task is to observe where the penguins would like to have their nesting areas.
So like ideal nests for penguins, where they should nest and where they should not.
We're going to have to find out how far the penguins have to walk, because for every 1 human step, a penguin takes 6.5 steps.
So if there was a long distance that they had to go fishing, then it wasn't such an ideal nest because they had to walk a far way. Then we're also going to try and figure out the chance of a penguin's eggs hatching.
We had to calculate how many eggs were hatched and how many didn't hatch.
Also, we're trying to see the likelihood of a penguin surviving through their first year of life.
Like a majority of them die because of the fact that there's not enough resources or there's too many predators around the area.
So it's a nice, a really nice unit that they have, which we've also seen being taught in schools in Oregon. So it transfers around and gets kids really aware about things like extinction. I'm going to show you a lot of different examples. This is another one that was sort of oriented towards helping kids. Where a school close to us, a K-8 school, decided to ask questions that kids could look into across every grade. And then they all did data investigations, and they put up their results of their data investigations for the whole school to see. They had a whole school walk around for parents, and they were asking the question, where do you feel safe? What does it mean to feel safe? So this is a little video. Their lesson plan is on our UQ website if you're interested. This is a little video they made. There's no talking in this video, it's just music, but you'll see some of the different creative data visualizations the kids made. We had shared with this school created data visual, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So I think some of the kids had been inspired by those data visuals. So not everything's a pie chart or a bar chart. Great. I'm going to share a really nice pre-K resource later if I get to it. So we have a project going at the moment where we're working with Indigenous educators in different parts of the US, mainly Alaska, Hawaii, some areas of New York, and we've been helping the teachers have their kids develop data investigations that mean something to their community. So you can see some of the data investigations they're working on. Water quality in the village. They were curious about abandoned homes, about native stories, populations of moose. So I love that people are doing these data investigations and they're really meaningful for where they live. So we have lots of different resources on our website to help with data literacy. One that's been very popular on our website is our data talks. And the idea of a data talk is you just share with kids a data visual and ask them what you notice, what you wonder. It's a great start to a lesson, totally open-ended. There's no right or wrong answers. So I have a couple that I thought we could do together to get the idea of data talks. So this is one of the ones we have on our website. And these two visuals actually show the same data. And it was a school project where they were recording kids' mindsets. So, what do you notice and what do you wonder about when you look at these data visualizations? Please share in chat. I love the discussions that are going on in chat where people are connecting. So I think this school had a survey that asked the kids about their mindset. There are some pretty well-established mindset surveys. So yeah, lots of people are noticing, I think, what you can see in this data visual, which is the decline in kids' mindset as they go through school, which we could probably have a really good conversation about why that happens. Great to see the kindergartners, all of them with their growth mindset. So yeah, great question. What causes that decline? You should try the survey in your school and see what you find. But here's a different one. See what you think about this one. A few of our data visuals relate to sport. So this one is one of my favorite sports, and it shows you data from the NCAA Women's Soccer League in the US. And what you have in this data visual is a picture of the goal. For those of you who don't follow what I would call football, you might call soccer, what you have here is the goal. And on the left, it is showing us the success of the athletes shooting penalties in different parts of the goal. On the right, it shows us the success of the athletes scoring goals when they shoot in open play. So, oh, that's great, Shula. Your niece plays soccer for Stanford. My daughter plays for UC Irvine. Stanford are playing soon. You probably know that. Um, so they're yeah, the PS times G is the number of pixels, and on the website it explains how this data is collected. It is collected from a sports analyst who works for a particular soccer team. I mean, this also shows us something. Every team now has their own data analyst. So yeah, I'll have a look at what some people are seeing. And when I do data talks with kids, and they love to do them, I have conversations with them. I ask them, what do you see? What do you notice? Sometimes they'll look at that one on the left. Well, is the red good or bad? So I would say you look at the key at the bottom, and what we see on the key is when you hit in those red zones, you score 90% of the time. Yes, conclusion, shoot into the corners, definitely. But sometimes when I do this with kids, they'll say, "Oh, shooting down the middle, you don't do well. You don't score when you shoot down the middle." And to that, I would say, well, do you not score when you shoot down the middle? Actually, if you look at the blue on that on the graph and relate it to the key, you see that people are successful about 45% of the time. So lots of conversations you can have. We have all sorts of different data visuals on our website. This one I also really love. We partnered with NASA, and on our website, this is animated. So you can play these videos for kids and it will show the change in the Earth temperature over time. So lots of really important awareness we can bring kids when we do these different data graphs. Thank you for people asking and others answering questions in the chat. So it's a bit hard for me to do that while I'm presenting. But so data talks, really popular on our website, and there's lots of them. And we have really worked to make sure they're K-12. So everybody gets fun data talks. Another really interesting resource, I love this activity for introducing data to kids, comes from something that happened in the world. Maybe some of you know about this. Oh, I'm getting a Sam Kerr clip. I like that. That two graphic designers, one in London and one in New York, spent a whole year mailing each other a postcard every month. And on the postcard, they recorded data on their lives. So before I go back to this, I do want to say something about one of the comments though from Annette. Thank you for raising that. I feel I don't know enough about soccer for it to be meaningful. This is the great thing about data talks. You really don't have to be an expert in the content of the data to engage in a data talk because there's always going to be kids who have more expertise than you. And that's great. You can model your growth mindset. If students ask a complicated question like, what is that? What does that mean? Say, I don't know. Let's go back and look at the data, or let's find out more, or maybe somebody else in the class has an answer. It's really great to not know everything about data talks, actually. So back to Dear Data, these graphic designers collected data on their lives, just really mundane topics like a week of indecision. And you can see they recorded different variables, like where was I when I had this moment and who was I talking to, or what was it about? And they made these beautiful data visuals. They color coded. They managed to show three different variables by changing the shape, the color, the size. So it's a really great thing to introduce to kids to get them used to unpacking what does a data visual tell us. I've been using this with students for quite some time now, where we show these data visuals, the kids unpack them. I watched this in a fourth grade class last week. And then you invite kids to collect data on their own lives. And if they're old enough, at least three variables. And come back to the classroom and make data visuals together. So here are some so this is our sort of lesson plan. Show them the Dear Data examples, so to open their eyes to what a data visual can be, and then collect data on their own lives. This one actually was my own daughter when she was in middle school. She's now in college, still playing soccer, representing her week when she was with friends, when she was playing soccer, when she was with her dog. So that was an example of a data visual. The very first time I did this with students was with my undergrad class at Stanford. It was during COVID, so we were on Zoom, and I showed them the Dear Data postcards, and I invited them to collect data on their lives and make data visuals. So they were locked in their rooms, as you might be able to tell from the examples, but Nathan collected data on the sounds in his room, and he showed them on a sound wave, which was really nice. Valeria collected data on hand washing. As I said, it was during COVID. I loved this one. Eric decided to code all of the ways he didn't understand the maths lectures he was going to at Stanford. And he had different things he looked at. Was it their slides? Was it the way they were talking? So that was very metacognitive. And then Kira decided to collect data on her dog and made this beautiful data visual. So I love this as an introduction to data and data visuals. Three variables, Christina. It's just good to get kids used to understanding different variables. Kindergartners, it could be less, although I've seen this project done in kindergarten where kindergartners bring in their toys and they classify them according to different variables, like are they soft? Do they have wheels? Are they animals? So even the youngest kids can think about different variables. But these are some different examples of ones done across different grade levels. And I wanted to share with you a little video that we've just collected. It's part of a research project, so it's not a fancily made video, but we're working with a fifth grade teacher. She's introduced her kids to data, and they are so excited about it. It has totally changed their whole perspective on life. So they started with this Dear Data project. And as they were wrapping up the project, they started to have a conversation about really what is data. And I thought I'd give you a little peek into their classroom to see the excitement of the kids. So this is actually them sharing some of their Dear Data projects. So we can look at this first.
So it looks like this
And the
is
teacher
a
is
chart
kind of reading the chart back
you
to
guys said
them.
something about like, we could say fruits and vegetables, because I think carrots are a vegetable, but fruits or vegetables that you came in contact with in your house, is that correct? And then you took the item, you drew it, so we could see its color, and then you gave some characteristics about it. Yeah.
Like we actually brought a lemon and carrot to like see and feel it.
That's great.
Some teeth. Yeah. And it smelled really nice.
Okay. Nice. Thank you very much. Excellent. Remember after
We'll see some of those kids a bit more a bit later. So a whole data investigation, which is pretty much what is recommended by people inside data and statistics, is one where you get kids to ask their own question, formulate their own question at the beginning, collect data or look at data, analyze it, and then interpret it. That's known as a data investigation. And we have a couple on our website that you might like to do with kids. I thought I'd show you one of them. So we already looked at a soccer graph. We thought when we were making a data unit, we wanted it to be really engaging for kids, and we thought we'd base it in sport. Not all kids like sport, but a lot of them do. And we actually partnered with Stanford's women's basketball team to give kids an engaging experience with basketball data. So I got in touch with a coach of the team. She invited me to go and speak to the players, and fortunately, a couple of them really wanted to help with making a unit for kids because we knew, well, the goal of our unit was that kids would actually analyze basketball data and choose their own players and justify why they were choosing them. But we knew some kids wouldn't know anything about basketball. And so part of the goal of our unit was to kind of teach them a bit about basketball so they could do this data investigation. And fortunately, we had these two amazing undergrads who are current players. In fact, they're playing right now, teach the kids basketball. So this task, if you go to YouCubed and tasks, you'll see this as the first unit on the website, all freely available. So one of the reasons we had this unit was we wanted the kids to know that, there's a lot of people working in sport now. They're data analysts. You don't need to be an athlete to be working in sport. So a lot of kids are interested in it, but they know they're not going to be an athlete. So the teacher, a sixth grade teacher, we're going to see some of her lesson in a sec, started the unit. Oh, great. Some people have used this unit by asking the class, how many of you watch or play basketball? And about 2/3 of the kids raised their hands. And then the first activity in the unit was she just asked the kids, what data do you think is collected on players in basketball? So I'll ask you this question, and maybe you could reply in chat. What data is collected on basketball? See if you can come up with any. A lot of data is collected on basketball. So here we go. Okay, a lot of responses. Great. Goals, shots, fouls, penalties, rebounds. You're doing great. Okay, I'm going to show you all the data that was in the database that the kids get to analyze later. And I see that many of you are listing this data. A lot of data, just like every sport, a lot of data is collected on the players. So as I said, we knew that some of the kids didn't know anything about basketball, and we had the players explain some of the different data. So here's a little example of one of the explaining videos from the players.
So our next stat is 3-point attempts. So just like I said, anything between this line and the basket will count as 2 points if you make it. But anything behind this line will count for 3 points when you make it. So let's have Nunu give us another demo.
Here's Nuno, one of our best players, giving us a demo of a 3-point shot.
And that was a 3-point make. 1 for 5.
Then one of the things I most love about this activity, we invite the kids to build a basketball court on their desk and try out some of the shots. We know that when kids move with maths, it really helps them understand it. So we thought, well, they move with these basketball data, that will help them understand too. So they built it. Some teachers, we had a great fourth grade teacher who contacted us, had her whole classroom was the court. And the kids made a court in their classroom and they tried out the shots. Some people work with their PE teacher and go out to the basketball court. But the kids really liked making the court on their desk. And there's a lot of maths in that, which you could, highlight or not. We also went to Maple Stadium where the team play, and we played this video for everybody, and we invited the crowd at the stadium to be data explorers. So we made this video to do at the game, but then we thought, oh, we should play this for the kids to invite them too. So here's the video that was played on the Jumbotron and is also in the unit.
Hi everyone, we are so excited to have you all here tonight, but we have a really important job for you. In basketball, it's so important for us to know our stats. So how many 2-pointers we make or how many we take. Just like 3-pointers, rebounds, maybe even block shots. For us, we have a Stanford sports analyst who does all of this for us so that our team can take that information and improve how we play. We want you to be that person for us tonight. So let's see it. Get those pens out and make sure you get all the stats.
So the kids then got a data card and we gave them a game to watch so they could practice scoring a game, and they found out how hard that was. Yes, this is on our website. It's really easy to find. Go to uCubed, tasks, and the basketball unit is right there. I think I can get these slides to you. I'll have to talk to John and Kyle about that. So the kids had these data cards so they could try it out with a game. And there were shorter and longer versions of this game. All the teachers I know ended up showing the longer version. But here's a little game clip.
Emily Ryan been killing it all night long. Y'all heard about Audie Crooks Friday night. How about a 34-point evening?
Of course, we chose a game that Stanford won. And this was a pretty exciting March Madness game. So the kids tried out the actual recording of data and they found out how hard that was and talked about how sports analysts do that. There are data visuals in the unit. This is another nice data visual showing Kiki's movement around the court. There's activities around height, gets a lot of those measures of center come up if you're a middle school teacher. Some of the teachers were measuring the kids' heights. And it culminates in this unit activity where the kids get a data set, Kodak, which is a really nice visual data tool, and they get to choose their own team and justify why they are choosing those players. This is a couple of students work on that. So I'm going to show you a little video of this unit in action in a 6th grade class in Oakland.
Raise your hand if you are a basketball fan, or you play basketball, or you like to watch basketball. Ooh, a few of us. Very nice, very nice.
I think the kids were really excited and shocked that you could learn math through basketball.
All right, so we are going to be introduced to 2 of the Stanford players.
I have a question for you. Okay, what's the question? Have you ever thought about all the data and stats that go into basketball? I haven't. In basketball, it's so important for us to know our stats.
I enjoyed the videos because the way it was like directed at us. I like how they were like directly talking to us and explaining the different stats.
Have you ever looked to see your heat chart, for example? I have, so my coach actually tells me that I have kill spots.
I think these lessons made math more fun, like combining a sport that's really popular with math.
What kind of data do we think is going to be collected about our players?
How many minutes they get in the game?
Good. Anything else?
So like if they shot 5 shots but they only made 4, they would have an 80% field goal percentage.
How many rebounds each team got?
Okay, rebounds.
For teachers, I think you should definitely recommend this lesson to your students because then they might think that math isn't so much like as useless as in the world because usually doing the harder stuff is more relevant, but something as easy as this can be really relevant.
I definitely think this activity helps kids see math is part of the world because they're actually looking at the actual Stanford team.
You guys are going to use these data cards to collect data on a Stanford basketball game.
Has featured a little bit of everything tonight for the right to go to the Sweet 16. Ariaffin with 35.
I think today my favorite part was like when we were taping down and trying to make the court. Just follow this model, like make it sure it's It was very challenging, but it's also pretty fun because it teaches you like all the spots around the court.
It helps my relationship with the kids doing a fun activity like this because they don't recognize that they're getting real data and real statistics, and they can see that this could be their future.
So there is more I want to share with you. I'll see how much I can get in the next 15 minutes or so. Kimberly asked, how can you fit this into the regular curriculum? What I know is that teachers who do this kind of work, including this teacher, have amazing results from kids. Sometimes we think we can't fit in engaging activities because of tests, but actually the ones who slow down and get kids doing these deeper activities do a lot better. But you can bring a data flair, if you like, into all of your teaching. You don't have to do a whole unit. Data is really maths in life. Maths in life becomes data. And you may be wondering, is it all data? Is of all of our numbers data? What is data is variability. So if you find the height of a plant, that isn't data. But if you find the height of a plant over a week, then that is data because it's varying. But data can be anything. It can be photographs, artifacts. And one of the things we feature in our book is Adrian Segal, who turns environmental data into sculptures. And I love that. We have, well, maybe I'll skip over this in the interest of time. This was a teacher who attended one of our workshops and who just went back to her board and asked the kids, what did you eat and drink today? And recorded it with different color chalk. So you can see these really creative ways that people are bringing data into their teaching. We do have a whole section on our website of data investigations, data tasks, data visuals. You can find them by going to UCube Data Science, but they're, oh, thank you for posting the basketball unit. And just many different teachers are investigating data in many different ways. This was another teacher story. Danielle had her grade 2 students, and she knew they had to understand subtraction, and she looked at all the textbook questions, and she knew that wasn't going to work to help her kids understand. So she looked at all of this content of measurement, of subtraction, of adding. This is how these kind of units can really help with all of the things you need to be teaching. But she decided she would teach the kids about subtraction by introducing them to turtles. And they went to a website that actually shares actual turtles, and where they are, you can see them in the water. And each group of kids got their own turtle. So this was one of the turtles, Donna Shello. And she made a data collection sheet for the turtles. They each of the kids, these were second graders, got this information about their turtle. And then they also saw where their turtle swam in the ocean. And they were given the task of making life-size turtles from the data. So they were using a lot of mathematics to do that. And I loved that she also brought in mindset by giving the kids their own little turtle where they had a mindset mantra on it. I'll show you it.
Make a mistake or not for the parts like which one goes where.
Yeah, exactly. What if you make a mistake and you are going to need your mantra? What will it help you do?
I'll help you see like the turtle is exactly the same as probably as your mantra.
Well, check your mantra. What does your mantra say?
You can do it, don't give up.
Ah, and why? How would that help you if you make a mistake?
You can read it and try again.
Oh, you can read it and try again.
So you can look more at these afterwards. I will share my slides. She also gave the kids some particular things to look at that would get them subtracting. So just so much in this unit. If you're an elementary teacher, of course, these data investigations are fantastic for bringing in different content together, mathematics, but also things about turtles and the ocean. They were doing geometry, they were subtracting, they were taking things off a website. She also made a little worksheet for them. So just so much that you can do with data that brings maths really to life. So another resource I wanted to share with you that I've oh, thank you, Amy, for bringing up the ishing. Maybe you were here last year when I was talking about the value of ishing. This is a great site for introducing young kids to data and to AI. It's developed in Scotland, and they ask you to put your school in, but you don't have to be a school in Scotland. You can put any school in. And they have such great resources, great lessons. I love this one, which introduces kids to AI, where they learn about rhinos being under threat, and they want to defend the rhino, and they share that actually there's lots and lots of pictures they take of the savannah so they can look for poachers. And they get the kids looking at, I was doing this, it's really a hard activity. They get the kids actually recording every time they see a human from all of these different photographs. And you can see there's still 50 million images left, but it's teaching kids how AI can do things for us. And
keep scrolling and looking for poachers.
Yeah, the website, this is the website. It's called Data Education in Schools. It's a Scottish website. So as I said, you'll get these slides. I know I'm going through things very fast. If you're teaching young kids, another great resource, the Preschool Data Toolbox is one that I really love, and gets the youngest kids doing data investigations. So on our website, we have lots of different tasks. We have lots of different data talks. For those of you who are teaching older kids, one of my favorite tasks is one that we partnered with the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and they have this task that's all about whales. So this is a bit of background. They actually tag whales. They put little trackers on them. And if you're teaching these high-level concepts, I love this. You can actually watch this video of the whale. And if you look above, you'll see that as the whale video is playing, the data unpacks and is graphed above. So you can have great conversations with kids about what these mean. You can turn on and off the different concepts. Jerk is a calculus area. But lots of really great ways of making that standard content like graphing really come to life. So I mentioned these important data habits of mind. I'll just briefly mention before I finish that if you're an older grade teacher, there's a big movement now to bring data science in as a high school course. This was a national survey done by Ed Week asking middle and high school teachers which should be a higher priority. Is it calculus or data science? And these were the results from the teachers. So, as you can probably see from that survey, there's huge support for data science as a high school course. Uh, Teachers, either most of them think you should prioritize data science or both, but very few are still thinking we should only be prioritizing calculus. I actually, and we had a whole slew of different subject associations issue a big statement a couple of years ago, just talking about the importance of this for kids across the grades. We know that there are more college majors that require statistics or data science than calculus, but calculus remains as the thing that most people think you have to get to. But I got involved in this data science movement actually when I got a call from someone a bit out of my regular group of contacts, not a mathematician or an educator, but Steve Levitt, who's an economist. He wrote Freakonomics, and he got really interested in updating high school maths with data because he was seeing his own kids doing homework and just really despairing that the maths was the same maths he did in school, and yet the maths he was using in his job was so different. So they put out this survey on the Freakonomics website and asked people, what maths do you use in your daily life? So this was interesting. This graph shows the two responses of daily and never. And you can probably notice from that graph, not a lot of people think they use the high school maths topics. Maybe they use them more than they think they do. But definitely people are they're needing to visualize data, analyze data. That is what is really needed in their lives. So at UCubed, we made a high school course. It's totally free. It's project-based. It's introducing kids to data science. We partnered with Google so that all the tools inside it are free, as well as the course is free. And we're really happy that about 250,000 kids have taken this course now, and love to see that a much more diverse group of kids goes into a data science course than is typically in higher level maths. And, if kids take this maybe as a junior in high school, they could take it AP Stats maybe as a senior. And we actually did a big study of the kids taking this course of over 24,000 of them, and found that lots and lots of positive outcomes. Kids who take data science are more likely to stay in STEM. They take more maths afterwards. They do well in all sorts of different ways. And in the US now, a lot of states are moving to having data science as a high school course. So I'll just wrap up by saying we have lots of different data resources on our website, some of which I've shown you. Pretty much everything I've shown you tonight is on our website somewhere. And this is our book. And you can get the book from Corwin's website by putting in save 20. You get 20% off and free shipping, although if you're in Canada, you're better off getting it at the University of Toronto, it turns out. And then maybe I've just got time to share this with you. This is a new initiative where we're really trying to get out to the public what good mathematics education is. We're getting a bit battered by people sharing bad maths ideas out there. So if you'd like to join us to stand up for this good maths education, that QR code will take you to a site where you can be with us in this important initiative. So I know we're at time. Thank you for being here. I hope you've enjoyed learning about all these data. I will definitely post the slide deck. Kyle and John can tell me how to do that. You'll see where you can get all these different resources. And I hope you can introduce your kids to data in these cool ways.
Hey, thanks so much. Yes, we will. We'll get those notes from you. We'll if you're looking for those, we're gonna find them is back on this Summit platform, summit.makemathmoments.com. If you head to Joe's session, you click on the link. There'll be some later. There'll be the links and the resources for this session up there. So we'll get those more moved over there. Yeah, I want to thank you, Dr. Boaler, for being here and sharing your insights, the resources, the many resources, and in the also the glimpses into different classroom experiences. So, thanks everybody. Do us a favor, actually, in the chat. I know you're saying thank you, but do us another favor. I always like to see what the big takeaway is for the session. You think about like we had an hour here together, but what would be your big takeaway? And what we're doing is we promised a giveaway here. So one of the giveaways that we have is Didax, one of our sponsors for the entire summit. This is what keeps it free for folks like yourself. They're giving away the Math Activators booklets, and so they're going to mail them to a lucky winner here. So if you get into the chat and you tell us your big takeaway, what we'll have, well, Joe will have you do is, because there's going to be a lot. I see this chat right now. I don't even want to look at it because it's flooding, right? It's flooding.
Great comments, though.
And so what I'm going to let you do is scroll up and down, like kind of like almost like you spin a wheel or something. Like scroll up and then stop on one. Read that comment or read that big takeaway out loud, and then we'll say the name out loud, and then we'll make sure that that person is their winner. And then
All right,
they
I've got one.
go for it.
Deirdre Wilson says a focus on data will help engage students and give them agency.
Deirdre Wilson, I heard you say. Awesome. Deirdre Wilson, you have won the Math Activators booklets. We will get that to you. All you need to do, if you're still here in this session, is you've probably got an email or two from us about reminders and getting into the sessions. Hit reply on one of those emails, and we will hook you up with that prize. That's how you can claim it. We have other prizes throughout the weekend, and we'll be giving those away. A couple other reminders. If you're looking for a certificate, remember that we're tracking attendance through a third party, and so that party is kind of monitoring some link clicks in the background. But it does take time to sync Zoom back to the site. So it says they said, hey, give it 4 hours before you see an accurate attendance reflection in your certificate. You can get that certificate or print that out when you're ready. So as you watch replays, as you watch live sessions, that will populate your certificate throughout the weekend. You can always go to your profile there and access your certificate. It is for certain tickets. So if you're looking for that certificate, make sure you upgrade or add a ticket to your account so you can get that or print that certificate out if needed. Not everyone needs a certificate. So the other thing is replays are for our free ticket holders, are completely free for the entire weekend. Don't forget that. But you can always add that ticket to extend your access as well. One more reminder, we got that Leadership Summit happening in February. If you are a leader, a math coach, a math coordinator, we encourage you to sign up. We have a full day of learning. Dr. Joe Boaler is joining us again during that day to teach leaders about effective mathematics planning and what we're doing to support teachers that we work with. Joe, I want to thank you again for dedicating.
Can I get a copy of the chat, John?
Yes, you can actually in Zoom. Anyone can do this, I believe. So in Zoom, you can click the 3 dots in your chat window and save it. I'm going to click it right now so that I can send it to you if I
did that.
Yeah, awesome. So we've got that. I do want to point out, so that Leadership Summit, but I do want to point out that we have 2 more sessions happening in 10 minutes, folks. 10 minutes, we have a session from Dr. Pamela Seda. She's going to be talking about why students are opting out of math and what we can do about it. Also, what we're going to be hearing from Jennifer Bay Williams and supporting students who don't know their math facts. So those 2 are both happening at the same time. You're going to have to choose which live one you want to head to at 8:15 Eastern time. But again, you can always catch the replay sometime during the weekend. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us here in this first session, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one and many more throughout the weekend. Take care.
Bye, everyone.